Hi everyone, it's your favorite atomic blonde here. How you doing? Hope you've had a great week. The UK continues to have the worst summer. We just keep like 1 minute it's sunny, next minute it's absolutely tipping it down. You get up in the morning, it's sunny, you put your t-shirt on, within 2 hours it's dropped down to 12 degrees and you're freezing cold, so you put a jumper on. 2 hours later the sun's back out and then you're too hot. This country's weather is bonkers, but I just wish it would realise that it is indeed summer. But on these rainy days, what does it leave us to do other than watch stuff? So I finally found some time to watch a few things, which is great. Finally getting back into the swing of things, hopefully. Famous last words, I'm sure. But then that did also mean that, unfortunately, I did have time to watch. I kind of like just sort of threw up in my mouth a little bit there. The Acolyte, episode 3. Oosh. Wow. Well, it certainly delivered on what we were expecting. What can I say about the Acolyte episode 3? It's bad. I can confirm, yes, it does bugger up Star Wars and Anakin and his story and the Skywalker saga. I think it's like Kathleen Kennedy has literally gone, well, if I can't create my own sequel and obliterate that family, I'll obliterate it through a prequel instead. So she's really got a hard on for killing Star Wars, that's for sure. And she succeeded. I saw an article saying that that's also women aren't watching the Acolyte either. So I don't know who her audience is, but her target modern audience is also left. Or the Forces female audience is left, because we do have brain cells in our head, and strangely enough, women do like good storytelling and relatable characters. Just sticking a woman on the screen doesn't mean a woman's going to like it. It's absolutely insane. Same as if you put, people of color in it, doesn't mean people of color are going to like it. We all, have a level of intelligence. And this is just absolutely diabolical and makes no sense. It contradicts itself constantly. It's badly acted, badly written. And I really don't care what happens next. So I ain't going to bother finding out what happens next. I don't think. I'll do what I do with a lot of these shows, is that I won't bother watching it, but I'll watch other people's reviews, and then you know what's going on. You don't actually have to suffer through. So in this delightful flashback episode, I'm going to keep this super brief because it's almost really just not worth talking about. It's so bad. This goes back 16 years. So we basically have the twins, Osha and May, getting ready for their ascension, which means they become witches in the coven. And again, really all this episode does is just tell you what you already know. So there's twins. They confirm that they were born of what these witches called the thread, which is basically the force. And so it starts off with seeing Osha in her favorite place, kind of under this sort of weeping willow tree thing, holding like these butterfly things, and it's sort of flapping around, and then she uses the force, which holds it in place so it can't fly away, and then she lets it go, then she does it again, and then she lets it go, and then May turns up and she's like, oh, what? Because Osha basically doesn't like being joined at the hip with her twin sister. She doesn't sort of see them as one person. She's her own person, which twins are, but May doesn't see it that way, and we learn really quickly that we already knew that May's just a complete psychopath. So, but again, this is the first of the contradiction. So Osha's just sat there and throws a butterfly and whatnot. Then May does it, and then Osha's like, oh, let it go, like she's being like super cruel, but she just literally done the same thing. So anyway, they go off to go back to the cult, and they just really cringe. I am you and you are me. One is up and two is down, and we're each other, or Sky's and I don't know. Just complete rangs of power writing, trying to do like rhymes and stuff to make it sound like we're really clever, but it's just cringe. Then like mother number one turns up, tells them off because they're not supposed to leave the compound because it's dangerous out there, and scoots them back. And then we see Sol peeping round a tree, spots the girls back at the compound, which is like this huge great fortress sort of in the mountain, like almost like if you looked at it, it looks like a mountain, almost like a dormant volcano or something, with this like stone housing kind of in it. It's like, so we find out that they came to this planet, so we assume that this was already there, and the people who were there, they like what, murdered or had left, or they managed to build all of this like super fast. Don't know, don't explain. So then they say, yeah, so basically then this is obviously when they confirm that they've got two mums. One made them, one carried them. The one that carried them, the kids they look like their mum, who's black, obviously, and the one that carried them is like white with horns and stuff, very alien, ginger hair. Not a trace in the girls whatsoever, but fine. So then we just get lots of right, let's go do some training. Then we get loads of more nonsense about the power of what. So she starts off like this. So there's one person standing there. Oh, the first one, there's this whole speech, about the thread and how you can't wield the thread, or you shouldn't wield the thread, and it's something that binds the universe, and it binds them to their destiny, and all this kind of stuff. Like, so you don't wield it, and the very next thing she does is gets one person to stand up, and she literally sort of wields it and shoves the woman backwards. So she's like power of one. The girl's just arguing and playing around and paying no attention to what she's doing anyway. Then she's like the power of two, and then wields it and shoves two of them. So I don't get this, right? So if you're talking about the power of one and the power of two, it'd be like the power, you've got the power and you increase the power, not the amount of people that you push in. Makes no sense whatsoever. So then she gets annoyed, uses it on the girls, flings them over and nearly knocks them out on the stairs to like sort of like, because the other mother said, oh, you need to be stricter on them because like you're too soft. So then they start paying attention. Then the mother says at them like protect yourselves or do something. So she comes at them wielding it again, even though apparently they don't wield the thread. So May sort of steps in front and pushes her mother back, and she's like, yay. And the other one gets told off because she just sort of stood there cringing behind her sister, going, oh, you do better, try harder. Then they hear a noise, so the girls go off to their room. I don't think we find out what the noise was. No, don't think so. Then they just basically go on about, so Osha just keeps going on about how she doesn't want to ascend, she doesn't want to be a witch, she wants to leave the cult. And as we know, leaving cults never goes down too well. Coven. Yeah, all female witches, shocker. God, what happens then? Yes, I think we basically sort of skip on to the girls getting ready for the ascension. So Osha says yet again she doesn't want to ascend. Then there's some conversations with her mother, basically sort of telling her again, like, this is your destiny kind of thing, and it's all tied to the thread, and basically I'm just going to completely ignore what you want because you'll outgrow it in time and you'll see that I'm right and you need to be a witch. And Osha's not very happy at this. Basically Osha wants to be a Jedi or something. So anyway, we go to the ceremony, which is the most cringeworthy piece of TV you'll ever see in your life, with them all singing about the power of one, the power of two, and power of many. woo woo. Lots of screeching and weird stuff going on. They have to make a vow, and May goes first, and her mother's like, vow on my death or something that you will continue the traditions of the coven and keep it going or something like that. And May says, I do, and then she gets this ball of blue light and slams it in her face. Fine. Then they do the same to, or go to do the same to Osha. And they obviously like to make her vow, and she's a bit like looking around like, I don't really want to do this, because we've established she doesn't want to do this, right? So she kind of goes, I do, like, I guess. And then, but before the mum can slam the ball of blue light into her face, the Jedi turn up. Initially, the girls sort of hide behind the witches. Then Trinity comes out and says, oh, we believe that you got some kids here, and we want to test them. Like the laws on our side that we have the right to test them, but then it's like, but only with your permission. Then Osha comes out. Mother's like, oh, there's no children here. Then Osha comes out and walks up to the Jedi, and then this is where Soul comes forward, and for some inexplicable reason hands her a lightsaber, doesn't explain what it is, not to push any buttons, because the way she's sort of holding it, like if she pushed the button, she just would like zapped him through the head or zapped herself through the head. But apparently she just sort of stands there just like, okay, lightsaber, cool. And basically there's like this whole, we don't wield the force, the thread, we don't use it as a weapon. She then uses it as a weapon on a Torben, the old 12-year-old that was the flying monk last week. His eyes go black, and basically she's like mangling his brain. They basically like, if you go now, we'll release him and he'll be fine. And I think the girl's like, oh, stop, mother, I want to be a Jedi. And they're like, do you want to be a Jedi? And she's like, yes, I want to be a Jedi. And they're like, oh, we can test her. And they're like, let me do the test. And they're like, no. And she's like, can I do the test? And then they're like, yes. So she lets Torben go, and he just slumps on the floor. And they agree that they'll go the next day and go do the tests. Then they scheme that the girls have to fail the test, and then that way they can stay, even though obviously Osha's being very clear she doesn't want to stay. Then they go do the test. And then basically there's like, it's like a digital version of the old psychic cards. If I hold up a card, what's the pattern on the card? But it's the digital, like, is an image, and then what's the image? So she deliberately gets the image wrong. And he says another one to Soul, and then she gets it wrong. But he goes saying, yep, correct, you've got that right. And then she is like, but it wasn't a mountain, it was something else. And so she basically gives away that she can actually see what the images are, and tells the truth and says, oh, I was told to lie because they don't want me to leave, and blah 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 blah. Then May gets the arse with her, and they go back to the coven. So she speaks to her mother. Then her mother's like, we'll think about it. Yeah, I guess you can go. So after telling her that like being a witch is her destiny because of the thread, then she basically says, yeah, but you can pull the thread, and the thread isn't your destiny. So contradicting herself again. It's all very strange. Just seems to be is whatever it wants to be at that moment in time, with a piece of crappy dialogue. So Osha goes back to her room, packs, because she can't get out of there quick enough. Psychotic May comes in and basically is like, you can't go, or I don't want you to go. And she's like, well, you can't stop me. And she's like, yes, I can. And she's like, how? And she's like, because I'll kill you. He's like, nice sister, right? And a lot of this episode was all about them being like one person, and you need to love each other, and this, that, and the other thing. So May's immediate response to all of this nurturing is like, right, I'm going to kill my sister. So Osha had this book that she was drawing in, and May sets fire to this, and somehow this sets fire to the compound, which is made of rock, some sort of flammable rock on this planet. I don't know. Just ignites and everything catches fire, even though there's like everything is stone and rock. It's stupid. Also, like, so May like goes out the door, shuts her in the room, Somehow the room locks from the outside, not the inside. It's like, what? Or there's no controls on the inside if you lock it from the outside, and this is supposed to be their bedroom or something. So they're obviously regularly locked in and not allowed out of their room or something. I know, all very, very dodgy. But there's some hatch, and because she's good at electric, she manages to open the hatch and scramble out. Ken catches up with May, who's then on like one side, she's on the other. Everything's in flames. The computer's blowing up, and more bad dialogue. So Osha's like, "What have you done?" And then the sister's like, "What have you done?" And then she's like, "What have you done?" And you're like, Jesus, what is going on? And then she's like, "Where's mother?" And she's like, "Mother's dead." And I'm like, how do you know? I mean, you literally just left the room that you'd left, that you just set fire to with your sister in it, and you've gone like 100 yards or whatever, but somehow you know your mother's dead, even though the witches couldn't seem to sense that the daughters were in trouble. I know. Then there's like an explosion, and May falls down. There's like a gangway thing, and there's an explosion, so she falls down through a hole. Soul manages to leap and grab Osha, like completely forgetting that he has the force and couldn't now save both of them by levitating them or something. I don't know, but he manages to grab her. They run out of the coven, or the compound thing. All the witches are dead on the floor, which makes no sense because this thing's open. So it's not like you would die from smoke inhalation, because the smoke would have gone up, and none of them have any burns on them. There's no lightsaber wounds. They're just dead on the floor, apparently. Don't know. Yeah, and they get out. There's a bit on the ship where Soul basically tells her that she's fine, everybody's dead. There's no point going back. Don't worry, you're gonna be my Padawan. I'm gonna train you as a Jedi. Everything's good in the world. Then we flash back to May being on the planet of the Willow Tree. Oh, kill Surprise, she's alive, but we already knew that because she's been in the last 2 bloody episodes. It was so dumb. I just couldn't maintain any kind of continuity around what the thread was for 1 bloody episode. It's not something you wield. Then she wields it at her children. She mangles Torben's mind. Then it's like it links you to your destiny, but you have your own destiny, and if you pull the thread, you can do what you like. And it was just utter nonsense. Complete cringe. And I don't mean to be mean and cruel, but the only way you can enjoy this is if I know you have special needs or something. I don't mean to be mean, but anybody with half a brain can just sit there and go, this makes no sense. You're just contradicting everything you're saying all the way through. The dialogue is terrible. People don't talk to each other like that. They don't explain how May knew that mother was dead. They don't explain how they all died, because they say there's no smoke inhalation because it's a bloody open mountain. They don't explain how rock burns. And I just don't care. I just really don't care. This is so atrocious. The fact that they've gone and done it. So again, as we see in every single trope, as we saw in Doctor Who, the first ones have to be women and people of color. So now Anakin is like, no, there's nothing special about Anakin. He wasn't the first one born of the Force. Now it wasn't only that there was one female before Anakin, there was 2. It's just bull. I just wouldn't waste your time, quite frankly. And judging by what we're hearing on the numbers and the figures, people are not wasting their time. Even Forbes have come out and just said, what is this nonsense? The mainstream media, we still got the shills out there shilling, obviously. But, when Forbes start writing articles saying, what is this shit? It's bad, really, really bad. And I just don't know how. I don't think Lucasfilm can come back from this. But no doubt, in a year's time, Kathleen Kennedy will still be in her role. So, whatever. Ugh, I loved you, Star Wars. I will always love my OG, but good Lord, am I out. So, after watching this atrocious nonsense, I then, as you all know, hopefully, that The Boys season 4 has dropped on Amazon Prime. So The Boys is an interesting one. I mean, it's a bit Marmite for people. I think the further it's gone along, it's really deviated from the source material. Season 1 was good. Season 2, bit iffy. I really enjoyed season 3. I know a lot of people didn't, but I loved the introduction of Soldier Boy. Just fucks basically, and then it turned out that he was Homelander's father, but he'd been like resurrected to kill Homelander, and obviously they kept it from him. And so yeah, I really enjoyed season 3. Not a perfect show at all, but it went back a bit more to like just sort of being more fun and about the soups and stuff, and wasn't as on the nose politically as season 2, which is a bit cringe at times and a bit girl power. Excuse me. So season 4, they've dropped the first 3 episodes. They are leaning back into the politics big time. You've got the kind of Homelander supporters who are clearly meant to be like MAGA Trump supporters, and Homelander's kind of like Trump, I guess. I don't know. But you kind of see all these sort of southern redneck, proud of their country people all supporting Homelander, and then you've got Starlight, yeah, and all her supporters are sort of portrayed as left-wing socialist, non-binary, this people of color, blah blah blah. I mean, it's just so on the nose, it's a little bit jarring. So Homeland's recruited Sister Sage, and basically her power is she's the smartest person alive, and she's helping him to sort of manipulate and almost cause like this kind of like civil war. And so he basically wants to start this sort of infighting so he can sort of step in and be the hero. He's still got Ryan with him, who was obviously Butcher's stepson. In season 1, we find out that Homelander sexually assaulted Butcher's wife, and basically got her pregnant, and they'd sort of kept this secret from Homelander, and Butcher was like looking after him. Unfortunately, that over the course over the seasons, the mother got killed, and Butcher was a bit of a twat basically, and said some really horrible things to Ryan, and sort of basically pushed him towards Homelander. So Ryan's been with Homelander since, but he's sort of really starting to see what his father's like. Obviously completely psychotic. So we still got Robert Singer. So obviously this is Kripke, who wrote Supernatural. One of Kripke's friends is a guy called Robert Singer. He was a director and producer and stuff on Supernatural. And Bobby Singer was named after Robert Singer. So now it's come a bit of a trope. So now we've got like a senator who's Robert Singer, played by the same guy that played Bobby Singer in Supernatural. Keeping up? Good. So he's running for president. You've got Newman, who is a soup, and her power is that she can basically make your head explode. But this is like she's sort of not out of the closet, as they call it. She's hiding the fact that she's a soup, and there's a whole so she's running as his vice president. So obviously, if he becomes president, then he'll have a little accident, and then she'll be in charge. But he is aware that she is a soup, so he's got like a secret campaign thing going on. Like, how can he take her out? Because obviously, he's like, as soon as he's in power, he's like done. So you kind of got this going on. You've got the story of Huey. He's now back with Starlight, but he dismisses a call from his dad, which is Simon Pegg. And then later on, you find out his dad's had a massive stroke. He's in a coma in a hospital. So you kind of got this sideline. And Huey's mum's resurfaced, who we've never seen. She walked out on them when he was a kid. And there's now, but apparently she's been in touch with his father over the last few years, and she's got power of attorney. So Huey's like wigging out that she's going to turn off the life support, and he's not going to have a say. And obviously he's got issues and baggage with his mom as to why she left and stuff. Homelander, say, is just as psychotic as always, and everybody's terrified of him. And you kind of got A-Train, who's rebelling a little bit, and providing information to Huey as to this kind of manipulation and trying to frame people to start this kind of civil war. So, I mean, there's still some good humor in there. I kind of enjoyed the first 3 episodes. Wasn't great, I'll be honest. There's the usual grossness in there. And nudity and all that kind of stuff that you expect from The Boys that does make it a fun show. It's just a little bit on the nose right now, but we'll see where it goes. I mean, I did enjoy, say, the 3 episodes, but some of it's a bit cringe. We'll see. It at the moment, it's not looking as good as season 3. It does seem to be edging back towards like a sort of season 2 vibe. But Gen V, I really enjoyed Gen V. Unfortunately, so one of the lead characters there, Chase, was tragically killed a couple of months ago. He was also in Sabrina. But that's kind of tying in with where this season seems to be going. That at the end of episode 3, they sort of say to Homelander, go back to the start. As we found out in Gen V at the Soup University, they're doing experiments on the soups and the children and stuff. So I think these sort of storylines I really enjoy with The Boys. It's just some of the more political leaning can just be a little bit too obvious, I think. That whole just don't alienate your audience, basically. But I love Carl Urban. He's like one of my favorite actors. I mean, God, give us a Dredd 2. We're in this world of sequels and reboots. That one film that really deserves a sequel, Dredd. God, give us a sequel to that. I will say though that his accent is so grating. He's meant to be English. Obviously, Carl Urban is Australian, and for the first few seasons, I couldn't work out what he was meant to. I'm like, is he meant to be English or is he like Australian? I couldn't quite work it out. This season it's slightly better, but it grates. And then people that write it, that they have him saying like governor and stuff. It was like, oh, dude, nobody talks like that anymore. Maybe in a Guy Ritchie film, but he can write it in a way that it doesn't sound so trite. So yeah, jury's out at the moment on Boys season 4. We'll see where it goes. There was some good stuff, there was some fun stuff, there was some cringe stuff. So we'll see how that one pans out. But first 3 episodes have dropped on Amazon, and then it will be weekly. Okay, so something good. So I went to go see Bad Boys Ride or Die. So the 4th film. Who'd have thought back when Bad Boys came out, we'd have 4 films? Oh my gosh, especially all these years later as well. So yeah, no, I have to say I really enjoyed this. And it's great that like 2 weeks running, I've been to the cinema, watched two different films, but both really enjoyable. I mean, in this one, the lifelong affirmed bachelor, Michael Larry, who's obviously Will Smith's character, is finally getting married. He's not marrying who you think he was going to marry from the previous film, but ended up marrying his therapist after he got shot. And that kind of is the start of the film. He's getting married, and at the wedding, Martin Lawrence's character has a heart attack, and there's this kind of sequence with him like being underwater and kind of, some sort of afterlife type experience. And he sees the captain who was killed in the 3rd film, and he tells him something. And then Martin Lawrence regains consciousness and starts acting like a lunatic and goes up basically rips all these tubes and stuff out, goes up to the roof. He's in one of those horrible hospital gowns with his butt hanging out, and Mike goes chasing after him, and he's like standing on the ledge, and he's just like, oh, it's good to be alive. And now he thinks, because whatever happened in his afterlife experience. He now believes that because he was told it wasn't his time, and he was told something that he now can't die, and he just starts acting a bit like a complete idiot. And then we kind of spiral from there, really. So what the captain gets framed for working with the cartels, and all his money appears. Obviously, these guys are like, the captain was straight as a die. He's not here to defend himself, and we've got to prove that that wasn't the case. This then sort of dovetails into his son being involved, who was obviously in the third film. He finds out he had a son with the witch, and he's currently in prison. And there's like obviously a series of events that happen that they're trying to they basically uncover, like, say, police corruption and such. I don't want to say too much because I want you to go see the film, but it is funny. You absolutely have to suspend belief. Some of the stuff that goes on, you're just like, what? There's a great scene with so the bad guys are looking to get to their families, and they've managed to hack into like the home security stuff, so they can see what's going on. And Martin Lawrence's character gets hold of his son-in-law Reggie, who we met in, obviously we married his daughter in the last film, who's a Marine, and says basically, there's people come into the house, get the family, get them safe. And he's like, yes, sir, kind of thing. And wow, there's this scene, and he, like, obviously because he's a Marine, and he just takes everyone out. It's absolutely brilliant. I loved it. And they're like, oh, he's not messing. Oh, it basically translates, he like kills like 15 people protecting the family, and it's just done so well. I absolutely loved it because he's like, the character is just so stoic. He just sits there all day playing like on the Xbox or PlayStation, whatever it is they've got. Very mild mannered. You know, his facial expressions don't change. He's like, he seems like a bit of a soft lad. And but he's a, we know all the way through that he's a Marine, and then boom, he just goes into gear, like his family protection, and then he's just straight back again. It's a great little action scene, absolutely brilliant, loved it. So, you know, it's a bit stupid, it's fun. A lot of people would have talked about there is a scene where Will Smith gets slapped by Martin Lawrence's character. Clearly very deliberate, done very well, very funny, loved it. Yeah, and this culmination of the film, this, like, you know, anything, you know, where you have to suspend belief and you just go like, what the hell? It's just stuff blowing up all over the place. Or there's a scene where they're in a helicopter, and the helicopter crashes, and of course they all manage to get out uninjured. You're just like, but it's fun, well acted. I mean, the chemistry between these two guys, you know, just works. Obviously, it has since the first film. We wouldn't have four of them otherwise. And it was just, yeah, I just really enjoyed it. Again, just sat there, smile on my face. A little bit long. Like, we just can't seem to tighten films anymore. They're all about 10 to 20 minutes too long, but immensely enjoyable, really good fun. I'd recommend you go see it at the cinema. Yeah, just a nice bit of light entertainment, which is exactly what we need these days. As much as it'd be nice to get something original, it's not too bad when sequels like this come out. You know, they do what they're meant to do. And it's not just been a complete retread of the films we've had before, which is good. And like I say, they found a way to sort of bring the captain into it, who was killed off last year in the last film. So yeah, all in all, probably like a good solid 8 out of 10, I'd say. Yeah, I enjoyed it anyway. I found it fun. So go check it out. Bad Boys Ride or Die. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Okay. Lastly, I mentioned it last week, gonna mention it again. House of the Dragon Season 2. So yeah, on Max, June 16th, which is Sunday, which means we get it Monday morning here in the UK, or sort of overnight. So with House of Dragon Season 1, literally get up Monday morning, stick it on, watch it before starting work. So I could then you know, watch reviews or watch Nerdrobotics like live review without, you know, ruining the episode. So I'll be doing that. Definitely going to be doing reviews on House of the Dragon. I'm really excited for this. I just hope they nail the landing. I mean, it looks fantastic. You know, we've not lost any of the sort of cinematography or the quality of the effects or anything like that from what we've seen in the trailers. It's just got to hope that they maintain the quality of the story writing. I mean, that's always key. There's always the worry that this will go off a cliff like Game of Thrones, but it is a completed set, or so I don't want to say books, because obviously it's all kind of condensed sort of stories from 3 different points of view about the events that happened. It's not actually told as like a linear story per se, but all of that exists. It's all been written. It is finished, but again, it's very open to interpretation of how the story is told and brought across. So fingers crossed. I'll be so disappointed if this is not good. Yeah, I mean, we had all the setup in season 1. This season should all be about the war. Yeah, bring it on, and please be good. But just a couple of days to go. Monday, House of the Dragon. You team green or team black? Know what I am. Anyway, that's it for this week. Short and sweet. Yeah, but do go check out Bad Boys. Let me know what you think of The Boys season 4. Yeah, season 4. Do you think it's setting itself up to be a good one or a bit of an iffy one? I'm very on the fence right now, but love to know what you think. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. It's really important. Small channels to get out there. The only way they get out there is lots of interaction from you guys with liking, comments, etc. And I love reading your comments. I always come back to you if I can. 9 times out of 10, I'll pretty much come back. And again, let me know recommendations, things you think I should watch, things you want me to review. Happy to do so, as long as it doesn't, got too many in my brain cells. I can't take any more acolytes, let me tell you. So yeah, so anyway, have a great week. I'll be back next week, and yes, look out for a House of the Dragon season 2 review coming your way. Hopefully I'll have a big grin on my face. Can't wait. So yeah, take care, and I will be back soon. It's all just gone Pete Tom. Yeah, take care, everybody. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.